Hello once again, Niner Faithful, and welcome back to yet another episode of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and the hows of the game. This past Sunday, the 49ers had an incredible, thrilling win over the Philadelphia Eagles. In a game where they had every reason to lose, they found a way to win and earn the right to play another week. It's been an incredible season so far, so let's jump to the film and see how the 49ers were able to knock the defending Super Bowl champions out of the playoffs. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. Right out of the gate, the 49ers were able to get an explosive gain in the passing game, and it came from stressing Philadelphia's communication. So if you were able to catch my preview video, I talked a good deal about how Vic Fangio likes to run a lot of what he calls cover 9, or a weak side safety in the box version of cover 3. Here on the very first play, we shift George Kittle over, and Epps comes down as the box safety away from George Kittle. And the Eagles are in cover 9, and we run a toss play. I believe this was just to verify what Vic would do, and on the broadcast you may remember they went immediately to the line to run the next play. This was all about challenging the Eagles' communication to change the play without a huddle. On second and third downs, Fangio runs a ton of different versions of cover 6 or quarter half or half quarter with check calls within it. When that can't be relayed from Vic in the booth to a defensive huddle, there can be problems as the 49ers shift, and with McCaffrey presenting a run strength to the defense's left, Reed Blankenship is going to play this like they're still running the first down call, and he's going to be a weak side safety in cover 9. But to the other side, they're playing this as a cover 2 side or a half side, and Quinyon Mitchell is playing this as a quarters guy, expecting Blankenship to be a quarter safety. From there, we're running Robinson on a skinny post, and you see two players take juice as the curl flat player. Mitchell passes off Robinson to where he thinks there will be a quarter safety, and they force a bust for an explosive. Fantastic opening script design by Kyle Shanahan to stress what the Eagles like to do defensively. Then they get a touchdown off another nice design. There's first a fake jet sweep to pull attention to the left, then a fake to McCaffrey to the right to pull attention to the right. It clears out the middle, and Brock makes a nice throw high and away to Robinson for the touchdown. Back on defense, the 49ers were largely able to contain the Eagles' rushing attack, and Eric Kendricks had a big role in that. Here, the Eagles are trying to run an inside zone, and Kendricks is going to recognize the play early, attack it, and with Jordan Elliott working to maintain his gap, Landon Dickerson gets his feet caught up with Elliott, but this is textbook on how to take on a blocker as a linebacker. So then here, the Eagles are trying to run a zone read, and first, Samo does a great job reading this to verify the handoff and then collapse to make the tackle. At the point of attack, CJ West does a phenomenal job taking on Dickerson, winning with leverage, and defeating the block. Back on offense, the 49ers have an incredible explosive to set up another scoring drive, and there's a couple things that make this incredible. One, this is the very first play they ran after George Kittle went down and was carted off the field. Two, the execution and throw by Brock is at an incredibly high level. We're running double widen skinner routes. Kyle calls this skid, and it would work well against a middle field closed defense where Brock would read a deep middle safety. Whichever side he shades to, he throws the other. As Brock is dropping back, he sees Blankenship retreating as the deep safety, and he wants to go to Jennings. And you'll see this from the end zone, but he'll look Blankenship off to the opposite hash and then rip a super high level anticipation throw, layered over the underneath coverage. Just an incredible throw, and it nets a huge explosive. Then back on defense, the 49ers were able to get Philly off the field. Now, just a sidebar, this is why I'm not a big fan, and neither is Shanahan, of fade routes or just go balls on the outside. They're great when you hit them, but they're also one of the lowest percentage throws in football. Hurts has Devontae Smith open for a first down, but he opts for the go ball and is played really well by Renardo Green. Back on offense, Brock had his second best throw of the night, and I wanted to show this because there's oftentimes a discussion that Brock has a weak arm, but Bill Walsh talked about arm strength as really only mattering up to a benchmark, where a guy can make all the throws. If they can do that, arm strength just becomes a bonus, but the other attributes become much more important. Here, we're running a choice concept, which is a corner route paired with a choice route. The Eagles are playing cover one man and have the middle lurk defender shading towards McCaffrey. Brock works this on time to get Robinson on the corner route, and this is where he's got the arm strength to make all the throws. This is a far hash corner route from a muddy pocket in high winds, and he drops it right in the perfect spot for a first down. That being said, there were two plays he would want back. Here we're running a staple play. It's a drift concept where you go hard play action and then hit a drift route, which is a 6-step in route. Brock has Jennings open, but he did say in the presser that the pressure from Jalen Carter disrupted his view. The biggest thing here is he needs to not make a bad play worse. He's trying to work to Sky Moore on a swirl route, and Moore does need to fight back to the ball, but this ball also shouldn't be thrown, and it's a pick. But back on offense, we get a drive going with another explosive play. This is real nice work by Brock because they're trying to hit Tonjes on a high crossing route. That's taken away, and then McCaffrey is to leak out down the middle if the defense rolls to take away the high crosser. And McCaffrey's taken away, and then Juice as the last outlet. So Brock works this across the field to the final outlet on the play, and Juice rumbles for a big gain. This then will set up a big trick play, but I'll show how that play was set up. But first, I'd like to take a minute and thank all the members of JFA49.com and our Patreon for your support this season. They're the ones who make this show possible. There's no corporate sponsor for the show. It's the incredible support of people just like you. Right now, about every 1 in 1,000 unique viewers has come on for support, so if you've been thinking about sponsoring content just like this, and there's going to be a lot of stuff this offseason leading up to and after the draft, it's not too late. There's also a link for a one-time support if you'd like to do that, but thank you so much for considering supporting content like this. Now, let's jump back to the film. So you see Philly with a single safety, and we'll run Sky Moore on a jet sweep, and there's things that Shanahan and the coaching staff are looking for in how the defense will react. They leak McCaffrey out to the backside, and if they saw the Eagles fail to respect that, they could have come with a throwback screen. What they do see is Quinyon Mitchell track with Moore on his jet sweep, and this will set up what they do from there. So 2 plays later, they run Sky Moore on the jet sweep, and you'll see Cooper DeJean track with Moore. And so we hit them with the Jennings reverse, and because DeJean tracked with Moore, Blankenship and a defensive tackle are the only defenders to that side of the field. So Blankenship is in conflict, come up on the jet sweep to help out and let McCaffrey go, or try and run with McCaffrey and he gets caught in no man's land, and Jennings makes a good enough throw and McCaffrey with an unbelievable catch over his shoulder for the touchdown. Back on offense again, here's the other throw that Brock probably wants back. We're running a staple, which is Ryder. It's a clearing route paired with a high crossing route. The Eagles are in man coverage, and out of the break, Tonjes looks open, but he's got Quinyon Mitchell on him, and a few things happen here. One, I don't like that matchup at all, and so that shouldn't be the throw. And I'm not in love with the design. I'm sure they originally planned for this to be George Kittle, so that makes sense. But the wind catches his throw and holds it up just a bit. Also, Tonjes cannot drift on this, attack the ball. Quinyon Mitchell makes an incredible play on this ball. Any which way though, it's a throw Brock can't make in a tight game. On defense, they're able to hold Philly to a field goal on their only scoring drive in the fourth quarter, and Marquis Siegel came in and played really well. Here, he's on a safety blitz and he comes in like a flash to make his physical tackle. Also want to highlight Kendricks, who slips his block, and even if Siegel isn't there, Kendricks makes his play too. Back on offense, the 49ers were down 19-17, and this starts a game-winning drive. We're running a pick-a-side read with what Kyle calls a Hooters concept. It's double Dover or deep over routes, paired with some flat routes, and then you have the tight end on a chip and release. Against cover 2, you'd expect this to work to the weak side, as the mic would shade to the 3 receiver side and you can high-low a hook player. Against cover 3, which the Eagles are in here, Brock will work to the strong side, as you can put the underneath coverage in a triangle stretch. This is fantastic eye manipulation by Brock. He identifies the late safety rotation into cover 3 zone, and from there, he's got to hold Nakobe Dean from dropping into the passing lane. And you'll see it from the end zone. I'll highlight where his helmet stripe is pointing, but he'll look to Farrell right up to the throw and drops it right in the void of the defense. Then here we have a play that will almost certainly be forgotten, but Brock's ability to avoid the big negative is huge here. The Eagles scheme a free rusher right at him, but he was able to avoid the sack and get the ball away. Then this is such high coaching by both Fangio and Shanahan, and Brock executing at a high level in the red zone. So oftentimes you'll see Fangio cover up a player as a number 2 or number 3 receiver that he really wants to take away by cover 2 or half to that side, and he runs a lot of quarters, half. Here, CMC is the number 3, so we have Jennings on a curl route, Tonjes on a basic route, and this would work really well against cover 2 because you would occupy 2 of the 3 underneath defenders and then have McCaffrey on a choice route against a hook zone player. But Fangio is ready for it and has quarters, or half field cover 4 called to that side. This allows them to essentially use both quarters players to match Jennings and Tonjes and then bracket McCaffrey. So as Brock drops back, he wants to go to McCaffrey with the ball, but he sees the quarters coverage, and this is where he's so good and so quick with his processing. He'll work backside where it's a flag concept, which is a cover 2 or half beater with a flag route paired with a drag China. And you can see there's a quick void in the cover 2, and Brock puts some zip on the ball to hold Juice up in the void, and it's a gain to set them up deep in the red zone. So with the data from the previous play showed, this is where Shanahan has the counter punch, and again, Brock is just so fast and precise with these reads. We're going to come out with Jennings and Robinson out wide, with McCaffrey to that same side. So you expect quarters to that side, with the quarters players looking to match the outside receivers who are on double in routes to sit and draw those quarters guys. Now, this play was installed with Kittle in mind, so from there, you look to run the tight end behind those matching quarters players. Expecting cover 2 to the other side, again, this is a matching zone. So Bourne will run a basic route, and then you have McCaffrey run a drag China from across the formation. And Brock works through the progressions, feels the rush, climbs the pocket, and delivers a strike to McCaffrey for the touchdown and what ends up being the game-winning drive. Just fantastic work across the board, and so fun to see these coaches and players playing at the highest level. Back on defense, we'll see how they were able to keep the Eagles out of the end zone. So one thing that was clear from the film was the lack of depth in Philadelphia's offense. Now, it is the 2-minute drill, so we also need to bear in mind teams usually only have 6 to 10 plays for the 2-minute drives anyways. Here, Philly is running their version of a spot concept, which is normally a corner route. Theirs is a side adjust corner route that can convert to a number of different routes, a spot route, and a flat route. Right away, the spot route is open, so they get to it for a nice gain. Well, the very next play, they're going to run the exact same play. Not sure if it was Kendricks hearing the play call and just hearing the same play called, or recognizing it was the exact same formation, but when they went to go to the well a second time, he was all over it, and great hustle by Keon White to get the tackle on Hurts, because Hurts had a ton of room to run. Then came fourth down. Here, we're showing this heavy pressure look and will back out late in cover 4. Philly is going to run a pick-aside play, but this is such a headsy play by Kendricks. When he sees Saquon stay in a block, a vet like him with the film study knows it's a pick-aside play they're running. And since he's on one hash, it's a situation of I know that you know, so he works to the opposite hash, anticipating the throw, and gets the pass breakup to seal the game. In all, it was a thrilling win to move the 49ers on to at least one more game. They have an unbelievable challenge to go into Seattle on a short week of rest against the number 1 seed, who will have had 13 days of rest to prepare and to try and beat a team that they struggled greatly against just 2 weeks ago. But one thing I've learned with this team, you can never count them out. In all, it's been an incredible season and one we won't forget soon. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the notifications button to be alerted to when a video goes live. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, go Niners.